Today's theme for Catholic Education Week is Hope for the World. One thing that brings me so much hope is seeing the creative posters and words of encouragement on people's front windows on my morning walk. It brings me a smile and it brightens my day. Today I'm going to walk you through a simple Catholic Education Week inspired poster design that you can tape to your front windows to bring hope to your community and in turn, the world. Let's start with the materials you'll want to gather for this drawing. I'm going to use the most basic drawing and coloring materials I can find around the house, but you can use fancier items if you have them. The first item you'll need is a pen with a thin tip. I'm using a regular black pen. You can use a thin marker or even a hand lettering pen if you have one, but a simple black pen will do just fine. Next, you'll need some markers. I'll be using thicker Crayola markers, but any size marker will do fine. Blue and green to color the earth, and then a black marker, thicker than the black pen, to make some words in the drawing stand out a bit more. And finally, if you want to create a perfect circle for your earth, find something in your house that you can use to trace a circle. I just found a drink coaster. You can use a round baking dish or even simpler, just a drinking cup. If you can't find anything to use to trace your circle, don't worry, your earth doesn't have to be perfect. So, before we start drawing our design, we'll begin by learning all the different elements within the design. The more we practice them, the better our final poster will be. I'm going to teach you how to draw each of these elements in the poster, and then we'll work on the final copy at the end of this video. So, we'll begin by drawing the banner. Banners add a fun touch to any drawing, and they aren't that hard to draw once you learn the various steps. I'm going to walk you through two different styles. We'll start with a simple banner. To begin, grab your black pen and draw two horizontal lines, one on top of the other. You want there to be space between the two lines. Next, connect the two lines at the end by drawing a vertical line, one on either side. I like to make these vertical lines slightly curved, but you don't have to. What you should have on your page now is a long rectangle. If I'm moving too fast, feel free to pause the video at any time to catch up. Next, mark a dot midway through the vertical line you just drew and draw a small horizontal line coming out of the banner. Do the same on the other side to make sure the banner remains symmetrical. Next, draw a dot at the end of the new line and at the bottom corner of the banner. Draw a line from the dot on the line toward the second dot you drew, but you don't want to connect them. Notice how I left some space between them. Do the same on the other side. Now you're going to draw another line in the opposite direction, sort of creating a sideways V, something like this. Once again, do the same on the other side. Your banner should look symmetrical. Coming back to the left side, draw another line just under the banner, going beyond the banner like so, repeating on the other side. Then draw a line up to connect your newest line to the bottom edge of the banner. So you can leave it like this, the banner looks just fine. But if you want to add some dimension, you can connect the corners like so to create a shadow beneath your banner. If you're happy with this banner, then you can skip ahead to move on to the next element in the design. But if you want to learn a different type of banner that's a bit fancier, then follow along with me. So, For this next banner, instead of drawing two straight horizontal lines, we're going to draw two lines with a slight wave or curve in them, one on top of the other. Notice that I didn't do this. I don't want that much of a curve, just a very slight one. The tricky part about this banner is matching the top line's curve to the bottom line's curve, but take it slow. Then, connect the ends with two vertical lines, one on either side. Then for the left side, you repeat what we did for the first banner. Draw your straight line, your sideways V, and finish the edge of the banner like so. What's different about this banner is that rather than making it symmetrical or look the same on both sides, we'll add the other edge of the banner to the top and not the bottom. Draw your midline, but then trace a line moving up towards the top corner of the banner. Draw your sideways V, connect your lines, and draw in your shadows to give it some dimensions. And voila! That's your fancy banner. It sort of looks like it's blowing in the wind. Well done. Let's move on. So next you're going to need to learn some fun lettering skills. It's easy to learn and I encourage you to use any font that you're most comfortable using. Since hope is our focus this year, it's our spiritual theme, we'll practice our lettering by writing out the word hope. You can continue using your black pen or you can use a thick Crayola marker. I'll show you how to do it using both. I'll start with the pen. I'm first going to draw the word hope in some fancy letters. I'll start slow if you want to copy how I write it. Now, to make it look more like calligraphy or hand lettering, I'm going to thicken parts of each letter. Now there's a strategy here. I don't choose my thicker parts at random. We want to thicken all of our downstrokes. This means that every time your pen moves downward when drawing your letter, you need to make that part of the letter thicker. Every time you move up, that part of the letter stays thin. I'll go slow so you can follow along. When I first drew my H, my pen moved up and then came down. So this is the side I want to thicken. Pause here if you want to take some time to practice your lettering. I'm going to continue doing this for the whole word. There it is. You can choose to leave it like that, or you can color in the thicker lines to emphasize the downstroke. Both look great. And it looks something like this. Next, I'm going to try again with my thicker Crayola marker. Here we go. This time, I'm going to thicken my downstrokes as I write my word. For my thin upstrokes, I'll use the thin tip of the marker. And for my downstrokes, I'm going to press down with the thicker edge of my marker. I'll alternate between the thick and thin parts of the marker as I write my word. This skill can be a bit tricky, so take time to practice a few times on a scrap piece of paper if you need. So, I start with the tip for my first upstroke in my H. Then I switch to the thicker edge of the marker for my downstroke. you might want to go back and add thickness to all of your downstrokes. It helps the words stand out a bit more, but that's totally up to you. You can use whatever letter styling you want for your own poster. This video is just to help give you some ideas. Next, we're going to move on to our circle. This is probably the easiest part, but there is a trick. Grab your circle tracing device. Remember, some simple home items are enough. And trace your circle to make sure it's the size that you want. Also, you'll want to move slow to prevent this from happening. You want to keep your pen tight to the edge so you're not flying off the circle like this. You may have noticed though that in our poster, the bottom part of the circle is missing because that is where the banner will go. So when you're tracing your circle, be sure to leave the bottom bit untraced. What will happen if you draw a full circle is that your words in your banner will be cut off. Practice this a few times so you get the hang of it before starting your final poster. So now that we've practiced the trickier elements of our design, we're ready to create our poster. You can even add some Catholic Education Week hashtags in the bottom corner. And voila! Here's the final product. We can't wait to see your designs.